This play is called Our Town. And the name of our town is Grover's Corners, New Hampshire, just across the Massachusetts line. This is an important part of Grover's Corners. It's on a hilltop, a windy hilltop, lots of cloud, lots of sky, and even lots of sun, moon, and stars. You come up here on a fine afternoon and you can see range on range of hills, awful blue they are. Up there by Lake Sunapee, Lake Winnipesaukee, and way up, if you got a glass, you can see the White Mountains and Mount Washington, where Conway is and North Conway. And over there is our favourite mountain, Mount Monadnock. And the towns all around, Jaffrey and East Jaffrey and Peterborough and Dublin. And quite a ways down is Grover's Corners. Yes, beautiful spot up here. Mountain, laurel and lilacs. I often wonder why people like to be buried in Woodlawn and Brooklyn when they could spend the same time up here in New Hampshire. Over there are the old stones, 1670, 1680. Strong-minded people who came a long way to be independent. Some people walk around there, laughing at the funny words on the tombstones. Well, it don't do any harm. And genealogists come up from Boston, get paid by city people for looking up their ancestors. They have to make sure that they're daughters of the American Revolution and of the Mayflower. Well, that don't do any harm either. Wherever there's human beings, there's layers and layers of nonsense. Over there are the Civil War veterans, iron flags on their graves. New Hampshire boys had a notion the Union ought to be kept together, even though they'd never seen more than 50 miles of it themselves. All they knew was the name, friends, the United States of America. The United States of America. And they went and died about it. Yes, an awful lot of sorrow has quieted down up here. People just wild with grief brought their relatives up to this hill. We all know how it is. Time, rainy days, sunny days, snow. We're all glad they're in a beautiful place and we're coming up here when our own fit's over. Now, there are some things we all know, but we don't take them out and look at them very often. We all know that something is eternal. And it ain't houses, and it ain't names, and it ain't earth, and it ain't even the stars. And everybody knows in their bones that something is eternal, and that something has to do with human beings. All the greatest people ever lived have been telling us that for 5,000 years, yet you'd be surprised how people are always losing hold of it. There's something way down deep that's eternal about every human being. You know as well as I do that the dead don't stay interested in us living people for very long. Gradually, they lose hold of the earth and the ambitions they had and the pleasures they had and the people they loved. They get weaned away from the earth. That's the way I put it, weaned away. And they stay here while the earth part of them burns away, burns out. And all the time, they slowly get indifferent to what's going on in Grover's Corners. They're waiting. They're waiting for something that they feel is coming. Something important and great. Aren't they waiting for the eternal part of them to come out clear? Some of the things they're going to say will hurt your feelings. Well, that's the way it is. Mother and daughter, husband and wife, money and miser. All those terribly important things kind of pale around here. And what's left when memory's gone? And your identity, Mrs. Smith.